Hello and welcome to this weather alert. Now we're not going to see any severe weather here on Long Island, but it's a very close call, and we also have had some pretty strong winds today. Some pretty strong wind gusts, and you'll see here that 57 degrees with gusts at 24. It's unbelievable, though. I tell you how hot it is. You won't believe how hot it is in the alley. It's 66 right now in the alley. And I got the air conditioning. Well, everybody on the South Shore gets a nice breeze. Not where I live. Definitely the humidity is definitely coming up to dew point still 48. I get into my neighborhood, it's stifling, absolutely stifling. But yeah, we do have some strong winds out there. You can see that. And it looks like we do have a couple of. Do we have some advisories here? It looks like we got a small craft advisory until 11 a.m. The air is moist, so I'm not too concerned about fire risk. But we also have to watch some smoke because we had some haze in our area. Look at that; it's even cooler. It's even cooler in Tom's River than it is in my alley by a few degrees. 64 there, so unbelievable. So let's talk about the severe weather that hit earlier. Right now, you can see that there's what's left of it, some thunderstorms here with heavy rain. But there was very severe weather earlier on that hit Pennsylvania. If we go to the Ventusca, I'll just show you the radar rewind. And if you looked at this earlier, you were thinking we were going to get slammed. So if we go back earlier in the day, you could see what happened. Pittsburgh actually had a tornado warning. You can see Pittsburgh got slammed by this storm here. They had a tornado warning, I think, around that area. But you can see this line, this pretty hefty line of thunderstorms here, holding together throughout Pennsylvania and western New York as well. And then by the time it finally got to like 9 o'clock, that's when it started weakening. But definitely a close call because it looked like it was going to hit us. And but the models were saying that wasn't going to happen, and luckily we didn't have that happen at all. But we have had some pretty strong winds gust our area. Islip actually gusted to 39 today, and it got up to 70 at Islip. So big tail of, depending on where you were, a lot of the South Shore had upper 60s, as well as the eastern part of Long Island, the South Fork, and you had low 70s in the North Fork along the North Shore of Suffolk, and then as you got to the North Shore of Nassau, you had some mid-70s. Central Nassau, we had low 70s, so the central part of Long Island got into the low 70s. But it felt cold. I mean, what a difference. I mean, I was actually cold on the South Shore. And I get back into this area, and especially my neighborhood, and it's like I'm sweating. I feel like I'm going to pass out. So this area is almost like a microclimate where it just traps all the heat, but because of all the buildings close together, plus the alley. And if you're in Jersey, yeah, you had 80s today. So mid-80s. At Tom's River got up to 80, but if you had a little more inland, you had mid-80s. So, yeah, big difference in temperature depending on where you were. That's what happens when you have this south wind. But I'm kind of curious as to see what kind of wind gusts occurred in Pennsylvania because there is a lot of reports of wind damage, and we can still see some active. There's another line of thunderstorms now in Ohio. But let's go and see if we can find Pittsburgh here. And so you can find some wind gusts here at Pittsburgh. In fact, maybe it'd be easier if we go to the actual weather service for Pittsburgh and see if we can get some wind gusts in that area, because that area was hit very hard by some very strong winds. Let's see, any storm reports here or anything. Wind gusts. Large swath of straight line winds, 80 to 90 miles an hour. But for a much wider area. So it's almost like a derecho almost that occurred over there. So, yeah, I know we're not really talking about Long Island, but it's close enough. It's almost derecho-like. I have Pittsburgh in here. Find some of these stations here. Let's see. They had a gust of 56, Port Meadville. I'm kind of curious about Pittsburgh. Here's Pittsburgh. Got Gotta find the official reporting station for Pittsburgh. Give me a moment. Here's Allegheny Airport. So what did they gust up to today? She should show it right there. Peak wind gust 80. Is that 89 or 69 miles an hour? That's incredible. So you can see when the storm moved through right here. Yep. And it went from the low 80s once the storm moved through to the low 60s. So the temperatures dropped really fast. But there were some pretty strong wind gusts here. I would love to see a report. Let's see. You can see here's the map. And you can see all that blue. Those are all wind reports. I don't see any tornadoes reported, but a lot of blue, which indicates wind reports. And yes, a lot of power outages from this. In Pennsylvania, you can see is in the red. So we'll look at the hardest hit areas, and you can see, wow. Take a look at these. Some of these are in almost complete blackouts here. So there's been tremendous damage. Allegheny County, that's where Pittsburgh is. Tremendous wind damage from these storms. So these straight line winds with these storms must have been very, very impressive. Almost like a derecho. That's almost like what it was like. I think like a derecho almost. So pretty crazy winds in these areas here. Let's see if we can get some other observations here. There's a wind gust of 66 at that airport. But we know we had stronger wind gusts than that. 60 miles an hour at that site right there. 63 right there. So if we can show max wind gusts. I don't know if it's going to let us show us everything. I really wish they would have had a thing, but let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. Look at that. 79 miles an hour. Where's that? Where's that one at? By Greensburg. Arnold Palmer Regional Airport. Wow. That's insane. That's an insane wind gust. 79 miles an hour. That's... State College gusted to 62. And I know there were probably some gusts over that, 80 to 90 miles an hour. But you can see where the damage occurred. Here's another one. Here's an 89 mile an hour wind gust. Actually, yeah, Pittsburgh. No, it's 69. Why does it look like 89? No, it's 69. But yeah, 79 seems to be the really Arnold Palmer Regional Airport really got really hammered. You could see that move through around 5:45 p.m. Wow, that's insanity right there. That's just insanity. So, and then we go into Western New York where we have severe thunderstorm watch, and we've had some pretty bad wind gusts in Western New York too. 77 mile an hour wind gust at Griffiths as well. So we came close to having a pretty major severe outbreak, getting close to us, but definitely for upstate. And their power outages up there too. If we go back to the power outage map, which I have here somewhere. I don't know what it did with it. You can see here Western New York also seeing some power outages too, as well. So yeah, a lot of damage there, and pretty historic severe weather outbreak there, for sure. I'm going to go to x.com for a moment and see if we can find out see any pictures of damage that occurred in Pennsylvania. No, I'm not making a post. Oh, jeez. Sorry. It's just when I get back into this place, I feel like I'm going to pass out, so my messes with my head a little bit. Fine until I get back here. You know, I could do Penelec. It's one of the electric companies over there. MedEd, Penelec. Let's see. Let's see if they have any pictures here. So, 73,000 customers without power. So, there's been a lot of damage here. We could go hashtag Pennsylvania. Powerful storm knocked down a... Oh my God, look at that. Wow. So this is a pretty significant outbreak. Power flashes here. 80 mile an hour thunderstorm. Here's what it looks like. almost like a derecho. Because look how it took a little bit to move in there, but there it is. That's really incredible to see. Power poles. There's been a lot of damage. We don't know if there's been damage to the transmission lines, but what an insane storm. Can't believe the local media did not cover this at all. Well, I think it happened after. Yeah, maybe they did cover it later. It happened this evening. So, yeah, probably a state of emergency probably in Pennsylvania right now due to these thunderstorms as well as New York. Could have been a derecho possible. So, over there. And this is all related to this front that's coming through, obviously. And you can see it here on the satellite. You can see this front coming through. And it will bring drier air in, and there's a little bit of an enhanced fire risk. That's the other thing we have to discuss, because we're not going to be getting any rain tonight. Those storms are falling apart. And the winds are it's going to be a little bit breezy tomorrow. Not wind advisory, but definitely breezy. If I click on mine, you'll see we have a special weather statement for an elevated risk of fire spread on Wednesday. And that is for tomorrow. So that is what we got to worry about for tomorrow. I'll show you what's going to be happening. As we head into tomorrow, this front comes through. High pressure builds in, and there's a little bit of a pressure gradient when that high builds in. All right? Yeah, I will have another video on May. Whenever I get my monthly data in, we'll talk about the weather as we get into May. We'll go look at the HRRR now. And you see, yeah, there is a tight pressure gradient to start. It does get a little bit better later in the day, but definitely to start the day, we definitely have a bit of a tight pressure gradient. So it won't be a wind advisory, but again, with no rainfall, you can see how it just falls apart. We're going to have to worry about a wildfire risk for tomorrow. And if we look at these dew points, you'll see they'll be dropping. Tonight they came up a little bit, but you see the drier air comes in tomorrow. We have northwest winds to west winds, and that dry air. You can see the front kind of does get hung up to the south, though, a little bit. So that may keep some clouds around for tomorrow. We originally was hoping it would be clear, but you know the deal. But we do have that. The winds will get lighter later in the day, but you notice that the dew points are low, and that's a concern. As we head into May 1st, we have an easterly wind develop on Thursday, and you can see this is going to eventually move back as a warm front. Now, your temperatures, obviously, very warm today. Tomorrow, tonight, they won't really drop that much. And then tomorrow's going to be pretty warm. I think temperature-wise, it's going to be very similar to what we experienced on Monday, I think. Temperatures well into the 70s. And without a sea breeze, I think there'll be less of a sea breeze this time. I think everyone is going to get fairly warm. And that's the concern, obviously, for the wildfire spread. It's going to be warm, and the humidity is going to be low. And that's a concern. And then tomorrow night, we'll see the temperatures drop into the 40s. Not in my alley, though. And then for Thursday, the temperatures go back up. And you'll see that it might be a little bit cooler along the coast due to that easterly wind for the beginning of May. But inland, it'll still be fairly warm. There will be a lot of high clouds around tomorrow. I'll just show you the sounding. You'll see that. And you see how they're almost touching there. So probably a decent amount of high clouds. We'll go ahead and we'll look at the RGM for the skies, I guess, just to show you that. And you'll see it showing some of that stuff. So there could be some high clouds, jet chunk, and then more for Thursday, upper level clouds and jet chunk. Smoke, let's go and look at that, because we did have a little bit of that today and later in the day from the wildfire that's still burning in New Jersey. The Jones Road wildfire is still, it's mostly contained, hasn't really expanded much, but it's still burning, it's still smoldering, because it's still putting out hot spots every day. So you can see there's some smoke. Looks like it's coming from somewhere else, actually. But you can see, yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of that smoke around, and then this goes all the way out till May 1st. So to me, looks like tomorrow it looks a little bit better, and then so maybe a little bit of haze in the sky, perhaps. Looks like most of it stays to the south. So, yeah, it's pretty much what we got right now. So, again, pretty impressive thunderstorm activity there in Pennsylvania. If we go to State College, they don't really have any public information statement here. All right, they do have storm reports, or they're looking for storm reports. They don't not put a link here, though, oddly enough. They do not have a link up here. Let's see if maybe they have a link from their X. Maybe we can get a link from here, maybe, and see. You can see all these severe thunderstorm warnings that are still being posted up as of an hour ago. So, pretty substantial. A lot of damage. So, it's quite a severe outbreak. Turned out to be to our west. Maybe a little worse than expected. But for us, I think the main threat, obviously, the alert for tomorrow is going to be this elevated fire risk that we're going to have because of the dry air. And again, none of this rain is going to make it here. So that's why if we had the rain, it would help, but that's not going to be happening. Anyway, that's it. Have a good night.